First and foremost, I want to sincerely thank every citizen who voted for me and believed in the vision of progress and unity. Accountability is a must, and we're going to have a better future for our town. I do not take the responsibility lightly at all, and I'm letting you know, I will work hard every single day to serve all people fairly, professionally, and with integrity. But I also want to make something very clear. My culture, my heritage, and traditions of my people are not up for debate. Not by any individual who has never studied, lived, or respected indigenous culture in the first place. See, recently, false accusations and ignorant rumors have been spread simply because I carry both a traditional indigenous name and an English name. Let me educate those attempting to weaponize misinformation, okay? Among Seminole, Muskogee, and many Southeastern indigenous people, carrying both a traditional name and an English name is historically normal and culturally documented. See, our ancestors, often maintained their traditional names within the community while also using English names when dealing with colonial governments, schools, churches, and legal systems that was forced upon them. That's historically documented, all right? So to try and weaponize that cultural fact does not work. So let's be very clear. This is not hiding. This is culture. This is Seminole culture. This is the history of our people's survival. And the reason why I choose to publicly embrace and use my traditional name is simple. My people hid under the names and forced identities for too long just to survive, especially in a society that often punished indigenous people for being who they are, speaking their language, and saying that they were Seminole or Yamasee. Many of our ancestors were forced to blend in, rename themselves, stay silent, or bury parts of our identity to avoid discrimination, violence, displacement, and even sometimes worse, to avoid the exact same thing people are trying to do right now. I refuse to continue hiding what generations before me were forced to conceal. Using my traditional name is not an act of deception. It is an act of cultural pride. I'm reclaiming my respect for my ancestors who endured way much more to make sure that their future generations could stand openly to who we are today. See, historical Seminole leaders themselves carried multiple names or altered English versions of their traditional names, like Abiaka, my grandfather, who was called Sam Jones, or Asiahola, who you know as Osceola. They weren't hiding, they were fighting. And the real issue is, people speak confidently about subjects they clearly do not understand. I find it so incredibly reckless for individuals to publicly accuse someone of being a felon or fugitive with absolutely no evidence, no convictions, no factual basis whatsoever. See, words have meaning, and false accusations made publicly can cross that line into defamation. I have worked alongside with law enforcement and all other agencies, local, state, and federal, for years, through emergency services, public service, and community work. The people I work with know exactly who I am. My identity has never been hidden. My record speaks for itself. The entire rumor says more about ignorance and desperation for those who are spreading it than it ever could about me. If you're unfamiliar with someone's culture, traditions, or history, the smartest thing you can do is listen and learn before speaking publicly. Because spreading false allegations rooted in ignorance does not expose the person you're targeting. It exposes your lack of education on a subject. Now, I will continue standing proudly in who I am, where I come from, and the people I represent. I will not allow internet gossip, fabricated narratives, or culturally illiterate commentary to distract from the real work at hand, and that is Allendale. We have a lot of work to do. The citizens elected me to lead, not entertain foolishness. And I will do that. It is time for us to get to work, Allendale. Do not get caught up in deception, false allegations, and more than anything, confusion. Because remember, the devil is the author of confusion. Let's go to work. I'm ready to do it.